Medicine Without Cruelty presents the need for non animal methods in science. Now, this is going to be an introductory talk and it will be part of a series of lectures that I will talk about why animal methods are unnecessary and all the amazing cutting edge non animal methods there are in science. There is no prior learning needed for this. So, this is the founding philosophy of Medicine Without Cruelty, and it is this quote from Mahatma Gandhi: "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." Now, what if I were to tell you that we could have a world where medical breakthroughs could be commonplace, we can have safer treatments for patients, and science does not involve any cruelty to animals? That world can come true, completely come true. However, there is one massive roadblock ahead of us that we need to remove before we can get to these medical breakthroughs, safer treatments, and science without cruelty. And that is to remove animal testing. That is what's holding us back. Animal testing is an outdated, ineffective, and barbaric practice that has never served human health. Despite decades of reliance on animals to test drugs, study diseases, and develop treatments, it is painfully evident that animals are inadequate in predicting human responses. And what's worse, millions of animals are subjected to immense suffering in the name of education and research when effective, humane, non animal alternatives are available right now. I want to go through some of the most fundamental reasons why animal testing has failed. And firstly, that's the poor predictability of human responses. Now, animal testing has repeatedly shown that it fails to accurately predict human outcomes. Now, according to the National Institutes of Health, up to 95% of drugs that prove safe and effective in animals go on to fail in human clinical trials. These failures are not just due to unexpected side effects, but also because animal physiology differs far too greatly from humans. And what is the result, you ask? Wasted time, money, and animal lives without any benefit to human health. The second is the inability to model human complexity. Now, complex human diseases such as Alzheimer's, cancer, and heart conditions are poorly modeled in animals. While animals like mice or rats might develop similar diseases, the processes that underlie these diseases are just not the same as in humans. For example, these rodents have vastly different immune systems and metabolic processes, and it means that the research that comes out of it does not apply to humans. This mismatch between animals and humans can result in misleading data and very costly failures in drug development. Thirdly, the failure to represent human genetic diversity. Now, another critical failure of animal testing is its inability to account for the vast diversity that's present within the human population. Humans are wonderfully unique. Our differences, we range from the color of our eyes, hair, and skin to individual allergies and intolerances. These variations are a defining feature of our species and shape how our bodies respond to medical treatments. Animals, too, have very specific intolerances to certain plants, foods, and even substances like essential oils. What might be safe for humans can have disastrous effects on animals and vice versa. These key differences highlight a fundamental biological variation between species. So, how can we trust the critical testing of medicines on animals when their biology fails to reflect our own? In fact, humans have actually nearly missed out on life saving treatments because of this disconnect. Aspirin, for example, has caused severe effects on animals, yet it has revolutionized human health with its pain relieving and anti inflammatory properties. Similarly, penicillin is a drug that can be lethal in some animals, has saved countless human lives by combating bacterial infections. The solution to this problem does not lie in animals that only share superficial similarities with us, but rather in embracing human relevant, cutting edge scientific solutions. And finally, beyond the scientific flaws, animal testing is just simply cruel. Every year, millions of animals endure pain, fear, and death in laboratory settings. These animals are often subject to invasive procedures, deprivation and long term suffering without any relief from their pain. Continuing to use animals in experiments when viable alternatives exist is ethically indefensible. The good news is that science has developed advanced and accurate methods to study human health without harming animals. These technologies offer relevant and precise data for humans. For example, organ on a chip technology are these tiny bioengineered devices, and I've put an image here of what it looks like. These small images simulate the environment of human organs, allowing scientists to observe how chemicals such as pharmaceutical drugs or diseases affect human cells in real time. For example, a recent study demonstrated that a liver on a chip was significantly effective in predicting drug induced liver toxicity, removing the need for ineffective animal based testing. Human cells, tissues, and organoids scientists can now use human cells to study diseases and test drug interactions. These cell based models are directly derived from human tissues, making them A, highly relevant, B, specific to human biology. By utilizing human cells, researchers can explore how individual genetics influences responses to treatments, leading to a more personalized approach to medicine. And scientists can even grow three-dimensional human tissues in the lab known as organoids, which closely mimic the structure and function of real organs. These organoids, they hold tremendous potential for disease modeling, personalized medicine, and rare disease research, among other exciting applications. Finally, artificial intelligence and computational modeling have emerged across all industries as powerful tools which we can harness in modern research. Computational tools can simulate how a drug might interact with the human body by processing enormous amounts of data. AI driven simulations are faster, cheaper, and accurate, helping scientists make better decisions in the early stages of drug development. AI can remove the reliance on animal testing through its suitability to handle large and complex volumes of data. In a groundbreaking move, the FDA has recently legalized alternatives to animal testing for drug development. And it recognizes that modern methods like organ on a chip and computational models can successfully and reliably predict human responses. This shift in policy reflects a broader recognition of the limitations of animal testing and the superior accuracy of non animal methods. Now, if the FDA, one of the most rigorous regulatory bodies in the world, now allows these alternatives for critical areas like drug safety, why shouldn't educational institutions follow suit? And this is why I am developing this series of lectures. This underscores the critical need to change the way we conduct safety testing. And I've put a few quotes here, firstly from the FDA, the Modernization Act, which is the legislation which eliminates an outdated mandate to use animal testing in drug development and encourages the use of non animal, human relevant models. Similarly, the European Medicines Agency in 2018 also stated that the use of alternative methods that are scientifically valid, such as in vitro and computational models, should be a priority to avoid the limitations of animal testing and improve the accuracy in predicting human responses. By incorporating these alternatives into education, we not only train the next generation of scientists in the most advanced techniques, but also ensure that they are prepared to meet the ethical and scientific standards required in modern research environments. Finally, it's important we think about the moral and ethical imperative for change. Now, we know that animal suffering is completely preventable by utilizing these human relevant models. And by using them, we protect humans as well from unsafe drugs. So it's a win win situation for both humans and animals. And human models are specific to human biology, so they can represent the wonderful genetic diversity in all of us. Educational institutions have to lead the way, particularly when it comes to science education, because schools are the very root of shaping how we perceive and relate to animals. From a young age, students are taught about the natural world, but they are also exposed to outdated practices like animal testing, which are normalized into colleges and largely promoted in universities. If we want to foster a more compassionate and ethical relationship with animals, it has to start in the classroom from an early age. Students today are more ethically conscious than ever, and they deserve an education that aligns with modern scientific advancements. So, replacing animal testing with innovative technologies will not only make science education more relevant, but will also foster a generation of researchers committed to ethical practices and humane solutions. And so it's time to teach our future scientists non animal methods that are cutting edge and human relevant, and we have to build a future where non animal methods are the standard in science education, making sure that they learn methods that are both effective and ethically sound. And if this one thing that you've taken from this, it's that the future of science is already here. The time for change is now, and it's time for a reality check on our relationship with animals. As a species, we've become so disconnected from the animals we share this earth with. Many of us view animals as resources for testing without considering the suffering we inflict upon them. In a world where science offers so many innovative solutions, continuing to rely on animal testing is not only unnecessary, but also morally bankrupt. Our relationship with animals need to change. We must recognize that animals are sentient beings who feel pain, stress, and fear, just as humans do. By shifting towards humane research methods, we honor our responsibility to protect animal life while advancing science in ways that truly benefit human health. Now, if you're excited to learn more about all these non animal methods in science, please subscribe, turn on your notifications, and you'll be the first to know when each lecture is live. And like I said, no prior knowledge of these methods are needed. I'm going to go through everything. Thank you very much for listening.